My name's Ellie Baker. I'm a Labour London Assembly member and I'm a Labour Group spokesperson for transport. I'm also chair of the Transport Committee, and I'm very proud to be here to support so we can work for that memorial and for an annual event, and you absolutely have my support and anything I can do on that. Before my election 4 years ago, I was a trade union organiser and rep for over 20 years, and I know through my union history the devastating impact of safety failures at work and the difference that trade unions fighting for safe and healthy workplaces can make. And I know we gather here on International Workers' Memorial Day to remember everyone who's died at work, but obviously particularly Jorge Ortega, and so tragically taken from his family, and my heart goes out to you. And it must remind us that while we remember those we have lost at work, we must fight to make sure that it doesn't happen in the future and no more families have to go through that loss. And Bob's given us a rundown sort of scale and range of impacts that safety failures and health failures at work have. And I remember so many union members that I supported when I worked who mental and physical injuries at work. And it's not just the industrial accidents that we think about in construction sites and factories, but in workplace around us, and that violence is more and more a threat, and workers facing that must be kept safe just like any others. So I'd particularly like to thank the trade union safety activists, some of whom are members, who've worked tirelessly to protect all of us at work and fight for the living, and as we remember and mourn our dead. Thank you.
Thank you.
Nick? Good afternoon, everyone. My name's Nick West. I'm a regional officer at Unite the Union, covering Redbridge. And yeah, it's difficult to build on what's already been said. I think everyone, both Bob and Ellie, have said it quite well. But obviously today we gather here for International Workers' Memorial Day to remember those who we have lost, like Jorge Ortega, due to either illness or injury sustained at work. And as we commit to never forgetting the loss of lives in workplaces, we must also commit ourselves to fighting for the future, a future where sacrifices made by workers are not in vain, and ensure that the world of work becomes safer for all. Each year on this day we pause to acknowledge the dangers that workers face in every industry, from construction to agriculture, from healthcare to manufacturing, from transport to local authority and beyond. And despite some of society's belief that work is safe for most, the reality is that far too many people, even here in the UK, each day are facing life-threatening and altering incidents, sometimes not even making it home at all. We must not neglect those who internationally also cannot promise their loved ones that they will return from a day at work. I think of those workers that over the past years in Pakistan and Bangladesh and beyond who've lost their lives in factory fires, locked in those factories because factory owners feel that's the way they can treat workers. But also I want to specifically cast our thoughts to the workers currently in Palestine who go to work each day for the same reason as all of us, put bread on their table, their family's table, and due to the current genocidal war by an oppressive force, they cannot guarantee their family they're going to be home. What adds to the tragedy is that most of these incidents that happen are wholly preventable. Unsafe working conditions, inadequate training, lack of proper protective equipment and insufficient enforcement of safety standards are contributing to it. We saw it in Redbridge and RCS last year, which led to our industrial action. And it's something I see every day as a regional officer for Unite. And as a trade union movement, we must never ever give up the fight to stop these shortcomings from employers and make them a distant memory. For workers, their families and their communities, the consequences of these workplace tragedies are felt deeply and forever. This lunchtime I was at Barking and Dagenham, as Bob alluded to earlier. Their memorial is focused around those who face the consequences of the use of asbestos. One of those workers that faced those consequences was my own granddad, Ken West, who passed away prematurely due to the effects of working around asbestos. And that was a material that manufacturers knew as early as the 1950s was a threat to human life, but decided to cover it up and lobby governments, successive governments, against its banning and in the interest of profiteering. So today, as we remember those workers we have lost, We must also renew our commitment to campaigning for better. We must pledge to honour the memory by pushing for stronger protection for workers, both enshrined in our laws but also in our hearts. We stand together as a reminder that workers are not just cogs in a machine. We are human beings with families, hopes, dreams and aspirations, and we have the right to return home safely at the end of each day. To the families and friends who have lost loved ones, to the injured workers, and for those around the world who continue to work each day in dangerous conditions, know that we stand with you. You are not alone. We will continue to fight for better protections and for better laws, and for a future where no worker is asked to risk their life for a pound coin. So today, let's remember those we have lost and commit to fighting like hell for the living. Solidarity.
See, Nathan, you want to say a couple of words, Nathan?
Well, I wasn't planning on it.
So, introducing Nathan Wallace Esnard from Central Line RMT, Central Line East.
Well, first of all, I'd like to apologise for being so late today. A few things are on, but I had to come here under Bob's invitation of the Redbridge Trades Council and the rest of the comrades of the Redbridge Trades Council. And I'm so glad to see Fiona, who I believe is from Jorge's branch. I mean, Jorge, as you all know, was an unfortunate gentleman that sadly is no longer with us. We all want to go to work and come home the same way, in the same condition that we arrived in the workplace. So, I mean, it's from the RMT's perspective, which is only a small part of the international workforce and the national workforce. We remember Jorge and others that perished just going to work. I mean, we have a Labour government in now, and I mean, the jury's still out in what they can do to actually make it a safer workplace for us all. We need to keep their feet to the fire and make sure that they actually produce for the workers, because in this day and age, the working class is wit's end. You know, so much so that we're having, oh God bless, we're having a scenario where Reform UK is gaining support within the workforce, and they don't represent us. It's the trade unions that represent us. It's the likes of Mick Lynch, Mick Whelan, Sharon Graham, and those are the people that represent and organise the working class. So we need to, get on the doorsteps and make sure Reform don't get in, and where possible, remind Labour that they're supposed to be a party for the workers. Thank you very much. Solidarity.
Is there a word from the CWU? A greasing? Yeah. Post workers also suffer at work.
Yeah. We're all united in one thing. We've all got problems with bosses and the way they treat people. It's universal and always has been. And that's why we've got to stick together, because your fight is the bloke next to you's fight. You may be different unions, may have different backgrounds, but it's one thing that unites us. We've all got a common cause for a better conditions for us and our families for the future. Thank you.
Thanks very much. So where do we go from here? What we'd like is the local MPs and the local councillors to help us to focus on a decent and reasonable and appropriate memorial for Jorge Ortega, as near as possible to the station that he worked at, and that meets the approval of his family and widow. So that's what we're going to ask the council to do. We will, from this meeting, be writing to councillors and to MPs to ask them to do this, with the authority of the trade unions involved. So yes, we'll be doing that. We've looked into the question of a plaque. None of it, Bob and I sort of wondered, what the heck do we do? Yeah. And we're not experienced, but I went online and found a firm in Liverpool that will make plaques. And they've made one that we look at the photograph, it looks right, but being Liverpool, we haven't received it yet. Sadly, that is something
and the further complication is that there are only very few trees around here that have not got a plaque already.
That's right.
So we'll need a decision from the family as to where to put it when we get to the stage that we've actually got a material plaque.
Yeah, and I mean, if we can get the resources together, we might get our own tree.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I know it costs a bit more, but we can probably get some union branches to come in on that one. So, thank you everybody that's made this event a success. Thank you for your commitment and turning out, and we will not let go of this one. Thank you very much indeed.
Thank you.